Hi, so this is a walkthrough of how to use the CEMP theory of change for media literacy projects or activities. The idea of this theory of change is that we can think more precisely about what we want a media literacy project to change for people, or we can use it to evaluate the kinds of changes media literacy activities brought about for the people involved. We have produced it so it works in combination with the Ofcom Media Literacy Toolkit. So here we will show you how to use these two resources together. On both websites, you can find underpinning research that informs this approach and a whole library of projects and research into media literacy. So these are really useful for understanding what work has already been done, where media literacy is going, and how the field is developing. Once you're ready to either design or evaluate a project, then go to the Ofcom toolkit to learn how to design a project and how theories of change are useful for media literacy. Then you come back to the CEMP resource, and firstly, you can use the 4-element descriptors to identify which aspect of media literacy the intended change will relate to. Is it to do with people's access to media? Is it about their media awareness? Is it intending to help people to use media literacy to develop their capabilities in their lives? Does it want to make a positive difference to society through the consequences arising from people's enhanced media literacy? Often a media literacy project will create change in more than one of these areas. So it's not about only identifying which one element is relevant, but looking across the elements to see where change can happen. This framework is also flexible, so we can identify change, see the potential for change, and also include both manifest and latent change. When you have identified the change elements which the media literacy project or activity can achieve, then move to the change objectives table and identify which of the specific change impacts can also be evidenced or where the potential for change is apparent. For example, new kinds of knowledge developed by people taking part in the activities, or people doing things differently in their lives, and how these changes are related to their access, awareness, capability, or the consequences of their media literacy. You can use this resource to evaluate a project at any stage. This could be a new project, identifying the change it's likely to achieve once you get started. It could be a midpoint review of a project, or it can be a final evaluation of the change a media literacy project created. This section helps you to reflect on the change objectives for each element of the theory of change in relation to knowledge, skills, competencies, dialogue, attitudes, and norms and behaviour. Access. Awareness. Capability. Consequences. Finally, in this section, you can find 2 examples of how to use this theory of change to evaluate and design different kinds of projects. Here you can find an example showing how the template can be used to evaluate a completed project, and the template to apply it to your own project. And here you can find an example of how to use this theory of change in combination with the Ofcom toolkit to design a project. Crossing the 4 elements, access, awareness, capability, and consequences, with needs, inputs, outputs, outcomes, and impacts. And thinking about the impact measures and the template to apply it to your own project. You can also find on the project webpage a report where we have used this theory of change to evaluate 30 UK media literacy projects from the last 10 years. So there you can see how we have used this approach to evaluate these 2 and another 28 projects. And we've drawn conclusions from that, about the kinds of change media literacy is delivering in the UK at the moment and where there is potential for more. We hope this walkthrough was useful and that you find this approach helpful.